Now on CoastTV News.
Zoning vote delayed. A big decision on a new Sussex County shopping center is postponed as neighbors weigh in on the traffic impacts. Sworn in. Delaware now has a Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the first time ever, retired Brigadier General Karen Berry. And an animal rescue. A Delaware sanctuary promised to be a safe haven for nearly 100 pets. Why it turned out to be anything but that.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Well, it looks like plans for a Costco, Target, and Whole Foods in Sussex County are still in question after today's planning and zoning meeting. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. We begin tonight with a delayed decision on plans for a Sussex County shopping center on Route 24. A vote to change the zoning there for the Atlantic Fields Shopping Center, which would include Costco, Target, and Whole Foods. That vote did not happen at today's planning and zoning meeting. The commission deferring their decision on the zoning amendment to a later date. People who live nearby were at the meeting, and many of them saying they're worried about the traffic that the new stores could bring to the area.
My issue is really traffic and really rendering the streets surrounding that area just to gridlock, continually from, normal business hours. So we would essentially be trapped in our community.
Now, although the Planning Commission deferred their vote tonight, the final say will come from the Sussex County Council. And for some more context on this is where the Atlantic Fields Shopping Center would go along Route 24 on the corner of Mulberry Knoll Road. That's near Beacon Middle School, and it would be a 695,000 square foot development. Well, a heartbreaking story out of Newcastle County tonight. The president of a Delaware animal rescue has been charged with animal cruelty. According to the Office of Animal Welfare, nearly 100 dogs, cats, and small pets were rescued from Mark Potomi's home. Potomi is the founder of Pets and Wildlife Sanctuaries. Authorities say he had 98 animals living among filth. I mean, you can see in these pictures the animals are packed into crates there. 4 of the animals did not survive. Potomi now facing more than 60 counts of animal cruelty and other charges. Now, nearly all of the animals are at the Brandywine Valley SPCA in Georgetown. The SPCA says it is in need of fosters, adoptions, and donations to help care for those pets. A shoplifting call in Rehoboth Beach ended with much more today. According to Rehoboth Beach Police, 25-year-old Corey Edge of Harrington was reported for stealing on Rehoboth Avenue this morning. Police say when they stopped him, he had meth, drug paraphernalia, and a knife with metal knuckles. Edge is now facing multiple felony and misdemeanor charges, and he was released on an $8,000 unsecured bond. Delaware officials are warning about a new text message scam. The messages apparently are pretending to be from the Division of Revenue, saying that your tax refund is approved, but demanding valid payment information. The texts even claiming that your refund will be forfeited if you don't respond. Well, that's not true, so don't click the link. The state says it never sends text messages asking for personal or financial details, and that refunds are never taken away for not replying. Delaware marked a new chapter for veterans today. Lawmakers, advocates, and veterans gathering as General Karen Berry was sworn in as the state's first ever Secretary of Veterans Affairs. House Bill 1, which established the state-level Department of Veterans Affairs, was passed by the General Assembly and signed into law by Governor Meyer in August. Many veterans hoping this new cabinet-level position will give them a stronger voice and better representation, something they say has been long overdue.
I'm honored to be the one to lead us into the future of supporting, making sure our veterans understand and their families understand what are the services that are available to them so that can help make their lives better.
And General Berry says that starting as early as next week, she plans to meet with veteran communities across the state and says she wants to hear about their challenges and learn how the new department can help support them. Now we're looking live outside into Dover, and we're going to turn things over to our First Alert meteorologist, Bob Trihey.
We definitely had that fall feel on this first day of October, and it was windy too. Winds gusting up to around 40 miles per hour at the coast, and temperatures only in the 60s and low 70s. By midnight, we're looking at, well, skies clearing out and temperatures into the mid to upper 60s at the beaches. You can see the bright colored arrows indicating stronger winds there, but inland where the winds are lighter, we're looking at temperatures into the 50s. By Thursday morning, off to work and school, we're looking at 50s inland areas to around 64 in Selbyville and mid 60s at the beaches, and that's where it will be breeziest. And another cool day on Thursday, 60s to low 70s around the noon hour, a little cooler at the coast and a little breezier as well. By 4 p.m. we're looking at temperatures in the 60s to around 70 in Seaford, but at the beaches you'll be into the mid 60s and then getting cooler into the evening hours. Day part forecast into tomorrow, starting out in the 50s and warming into the 60s. I'll have much more on your weekend forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Bob. Well, the Assateague Island National Seashore Facebook page says the federal government shutdown has left it with fewer staff and services. The National Seashore Campground, beaches, and trails, they will remain open through the shutdown. However, the visitor centers will be closed until the shutdown is over. Visitors say they are relieved the park remains partially open.
It is a beautiful park, and I know I've gotten a lot out of it over the years, and I'm sure a lot of other people have.
So for now, visitors will have to enjoy Assateague with fewer resources and wait for the government shutdown to end before the park fully reopens. Meanwhile, the Delaware Healthcare Association is sounding the alarm over the potential impact of the government shutdown. According to the association, the shutdown threatens several healthcare programs that support hospital operations and patient care. DHA's CEO and President Brian Frazee said in a statement today, quote, "This shutdown will have real implications on critical healthcare programs. The current political gridlock creates uncertainty, making these times only more challenging." On your screen now is Cape Henlopen State Park. It's one of Delaware's 17 state parks, and all combined, they draw millions of people to the first state every year. State parks also generated close to $1 billion for state tourism and businesses last year. But as CoastTV reporter Emma Aiken shows us, DNREC is proposing some drastic price increases to enter the state parks.
Bird watching. That's just one of many activities Mary Beth Medlock enjoys in Delaware state parks like Cape Henlopen, but she's worried about how busy these areas can get, especially in the summer. That's one reason why Medlock supports DNREC's proposed fee increases.
And she said there is a sign that said the park's full. We're beyond capacity.
DNREC is proposing a wide variety of price changes. For example, at beach parks, Delaware cars currently pay $5 daily. That could jump to $10. For out-of-state cars, that same pass could go from $10 to $20. For annual passes, the in-state rate of $35 could jump to $50. And if you're visiting from out-of-state, a $70 annual pass could increase to $100. Out-of-staters Beth and John Wolgamuth say if DNREC raises the prices too much, it will push people away.
I could see them increasing the in-state from $5 to $7.50, something like that. That would make a lot more sense to me. But to put it so high for out-of-state, you just stop people coming to the state.
DNREC says they're proposing these fee increases because demand is at a record high, and they haven't increased the daily pass rates or the annual pass rates since 2015. But in that same 10-year period, operating costs have increased by 127%. Local Bill Biles is a little conflicted, but says the rate change would be good for the longevity of the parks.
I hate to see them raise the rates because it's such a beautiful park, but I don't want to see the park, deteriorate either. So
another price hike to consider, lifetime passes could take a hit too. That's those available to Delaware residents aged 65 or older. Right now they cost $65. That would bump up to $150. With only so much park to go around and the cost of maintaining the land rising, record demand could lead to higher prices if the proposal moves forward.
That was Emma Aiken reporting, and we're going to go now to our CoastTV poll because we want to know if higher fees would change your park visits. Looking at the results, 44% say they would visit less, 53% say no change. Just a few people say they would visit more or they're not exactly sure. And you can still vote and let us know what you think. Go over to CoastTV.com or use our mobile app. And we still have more news to tell you about. Coming up, for the first time in years, Salisbury Airport has a new commercial route. We'll tell you where Breeze Airways is headed. But first, a pioneer who broke the rules of science and forever changed it. We have a look back at Jane Goodall's legacy.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast heading into your Thursday. Not too bad. Starting out in the 50s, both in Cambridge and in Crisfield. A mix of sun and clouds tomorrow with highs into the mid 60s, a little bit below average. Our high today was 70. Our low was 64. Average is now 75 and 56 with 87 the record high. Feeling like fall the next couple of days with the weekend warm up. Your full forecast coming up after the break.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Celebrated scientist Jane Goodall, who changed forever the way we think about chimpanzees, has passed away at the age of 91. And NBC's Ann Thompson reports on her life and career.
It was perhaps a basic instinct that chimpanzees recognized they had a friend in Jane Goodall, the young British woman with little scientific training who went to Tanzania in 1960 and changed the way we look at these great apes by doing everything established scientists thought was wrong.
When I got to Cambridge finally, they were totally horrified. I'd named the chimps instead of numbering them. I talked about them having personalities. I talked about them having minds and being able to have rational thoughts and emotions, happiness, sadness, fear. And all of these things were supposed to be attributes only of humans.
She discovered the chimps could make tools, described wars between groups of chimps, and captivated the world.
Fortunately, when I was a child, I had a great teacher who taught me that in this respect, these erudite scientists were completely wrong, and that was my dog, Rusty.
The child that fell in love with Tarzan of the Apes, as an adult, conducted her research by immersing herself in the chimp's habitat for endless hours of observation, building trust with her subjects.
Being out in the wild, you know, back when I dreamed of it, there was nobody doing anything like that.
Goodall devoted her life to the protection of the chimps and the earth, fighting against the destruction of forests and, more recently, climate change that threaten this endangered species.
If all around the world the importance of protecting and restoring forests was understood, that would go a long way towards mitigating the effects of climate change.
Goodall married twice and had one son. But her lasting legacy is the relationship forged in the wild.
I want to be remembered for having helped people to understand the true nature of animals, that they do matter as individuals, that they do have a part to play in the scheme of things, and they're not just objects, they're beings, and they're part of it.
Teaching us about chimpanzees and ourselves. Ann Thompson, NBC News.
Coming up after the break, Hurricane Imelda leaving destruction in its wake. What parts of the East Coast are facing tonight?
It definitely had that fall feel on this first day of October. Temperatures on the cool side, especially with those winds that were gusting near 40 miles per hour at the beaches. Our highs today, 70 in Georgetown, Salisbury 72. The same for Cambridge and Easton with a high of 70 in Ocean City and 71 in Dover. Here's your storyline. Overnight, the winds will diminish. It will be cool as high pressure is building in, and it still will be breezy. We'll have some gusts, I think, at the beaches, 20 to 30 miles per hour. And then later in the week, it's sensational. We'll have that autumn feel with highs into the 60s and 70s, lows in the 40s and 50s with a high rip current risk. Here's a 5-day temperature trend. Now, the average high is 75. We'll be below that the next couple of days with 68 on Thursday, 71 on Friday, and the weekend looking really good. Saturday, 76, 78 on Sunday, and by Monday, a high of 79. Let's walk you through the forecast With Futurecast, here's midnight. We're still breezy at the coast. You can see all the arrows here, but then the arrows go away. Inland areas, that means light winds and temperatures into the 50s with 60s at the coast. On the way to work and school tomorrow morning, we're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s, maybe a few clouds out there. And then heading into your Thursday mid-morning, we're in the 60s. The breezes will be picking up again out of the northeast. Not as strong as today, as we're looking at temperatures in the 60s to around 70 inland areas by 3 p.m. and then mid-60s at the coast. As we go into Thursday night, high pressure moves closer. The winds will be light, maybe a few high clouds, and it's going to be cool around 50 in Delmar and Seaford. You're definitely going to need that heavier jacket Friday morning with 60s at the coast. And then heading into your Friday afternoon, not bad, but temperatures still below average into the 60s and 70s. Along the coast on your Thursday, upper 60s from Lewis to Dewey Beach, Bethany Beach around 68. The same for Chincoteague, and feeling cooler with that northeast breeze over 20 miles per hour as we're looking at those future wind gusts. Here's Thursday morning, gusting 20 to 25 at the coast. Definitely lighter inland and still pretty breezy as we go into Thursday afternoon. And then as we go into Thursday night, breezy at the coast, then the winds do start to die down as we go into your Friday morning. And taking a look at the muggy meter, it's going to be very comfortable with dew points very nice as we go through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then the humidity does start to creep up a little bit as we go into early next week. Tonight, 54, mostly clear, cool and breezy. And then for your Thursday, 68, partly cloudy and breezy and cool. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 71 on Friday, mid to upper 70s into the weekend with sunshine. 81 by Tuesday, and maybe a chance of showers finally by Wednesday, and a high of 77. And congratulations to Joel Wolf from Bridgeville on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
And we're going to stick with weather for a minute here. The U.S. East Coast seeing powerful waves due to Hurricane Imelda. Imelda was a Category 2 hurricane this afternoon with sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. It has now started moving toward Bermuda, but not before turning up some dangerous surf, rip currents, and coastal flooding all along the East Coast. As Sherelle Hubbard reports, the worst impacts are expected tonight.
Got some major breakage. There it goes.
This video shows the moment when a home collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean due to Hurricane Imelda. The storm, which formed in the Bahamas over the weekend, took down at least 5 unoccupied houses in Buxton, North Carolina on Tuesday, one eyewitness said.
Can't imagine this happens anywhere else. 5 collapses within like 1 hour.
This one's really tough because I kind of grew up on this street and lived on this street for a few years.
Rough surf and coastal flooding have battered the region, with Imelda bringing rip currents and beach erosion along the East Coast.
It's awful. Something that I think we all knew we might see one day, but there was a big part of us that hoped it wouldn't actually happen.
Imelda on a collision course with Bermuda on Wednesday. According to the National Hurricane Center, by midday, it had strengthened to a Category 2 storm, packing winds of 100 miles an hour. Although moving further into the ocean, Imelda has left her mark on those now forced to rebuild what she has destroyed.
We're going to need some help when it's over. We're going to need help moving forward. We're going to need help from the legislature, making some changes that allow us to help ourselves, and we've been screaming at semi-deaf ears, so it's time to get them unclogged.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Now to Salisbury, where Breeze Airways has launched service from Salisbury to Orlando. The airline will fly nonstop twice a week on Mondays and Fridays, and this does mark the first new commercial route at Salisbury Regional Airport in years. As previously, only Piedmont Airlines, operating under American Airlines, flew to Charlotte or Philadelphia.
To the Breeze team, welcome home. We are thrilled to have you here, and we know that the community will embrace you with open arms. From family vacations to business trips, to reunions with loved ones, you now play a part in so many of the memories in our region and for people across the shore.
And Breeze Airline, their fares to Orlando, that they start at $59 each way, but you will still have to pay more for seat selection, luggage, and other things. Coming up in sports tonight, the Delmarva Sports Network heads to Stephen Decatur to learn the art of field hockey. And coming up, spooky spending. What's driving up the cost of candy and costumes this October?
Looks like a great day for golf heading into your Thursday. Make sure you have your sweatshirt, breezy and definitely on the cool side with highs into the upper 60s. Warming up into the weekend, I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up next.
We salute Irv Hudson, a proud World War II veteran who served under General George Patton and fought bravely in the Battle of the Bulge. A lifelong resident of Ocean View, Irv recently celebrated his 100th birthday at VFW Post 7234, an incredible milestone for a true American hero. His legacy of service and strength continues to inspire all who know him.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Walmart is making changes to its food. The retailer announcing it will get rid of synthetic dyes from its store brand foods. Officials say they also plan to remove 30 other ingredients, including preservatives and certain artificial sweeteners. Some of the products that will be affected are cheese dips, sports drinks, and cake frostings. Officials say they hope to keep their prices static during the transition, and all of the ingredient changes are expected to be complete by 2027. Well, it's a sign of the times. The Census Bureau says nearly a third of Americans are choosing to rent rather than buy. And now there's a coffee brand that's reflecting the moment. It's actually a rebrand. Maxwell House is changing to Maxwell Apartment for a limited time. The company says Americans are looking for good value, whether it's where they choose to live or the coffee they drink. And they promise Maxwell Apartment offers a quality cup of joe without a pricey trip to the coffee shop. And as we flip the calendar over to October, the countdown to Halloween begins. But this year, tariffs has put a terrifying effect on spending. And the National Retail Federation is projecting consumers will spend $13.1 billion this year on Halloween. That would actually be a new record. Jen Sullivan looks at what will cost more this year.
It's October, and that means rolling out the pumpkins, ghosts, and goblins. But the most frightful thing about Halloween this year may just be the prices as shoppers feel the impact of tariffs and inflation.
Tariffs this year are on people's minds.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation says they saw people start shopping in September or earlier for Halloween because they're worried items will cost more, so they're spreading out their purchases.
Many of those costs haven't yet been passed on to consumers. It is impacting certain goods differently. We may be seeing it a little bit more in non-durable goods.
President Donald Trump implemented tariffs on a variety of imported goods to encourage companies to make products in the U.S. According to the Alliance for American Manufacturing, virtually all Halloween costumes on the market are imported, which means they'll be subject to tariffs. But Cullen says tariffs have affected certain goods differently.
Less than a quarter of tariff costs have been passed on to consumers.
Candy and sweets prices are also up from a year ago, according to the latest Consumer Price Index. Shoppers are spending more on Halloween this year. The NRF says people are spending about $114 per person. That's nearly $11 more than last year.
In times of uncertainty, and we've seen this starting with the pandemic, during times of inflation and others, people are turning to these celebrations, these fun holidays where no matter what's going on in the world, you can dress up in something fun.
If those prices are giving you a scare, there are ways to save. Cullen suggests shopping at discount stores, reusing decorations, and getting crafty with costumes and decor. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
What's going on, everybody? In this newest edition of DSN Demonstration presented to you by YDI Apparel, DSN's Darren Wallace gets some reps in going one-on-one with Stephen Decatur field hockey. The ladies talked a big game, but let's see if they can back it up.
1v1 like both ways? Yeah, I'll be defense once, you'll be defense once.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, what do you want first?
I'll be on defense first.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
So wait, how does this?
You're gonna use your defense skills you learned from Nikki, and you're gonna attack me, and I'm gonna try and get around you with some pulls and then shooting.
All right. But you can't. Don't take it easy on me. Like if you make me fall or something, like be my guest.
Ready?
All right, let's do it. Oh. Okay.
Best out of 3?
Yeah. I wasn't ready for it. She just whooped me. All right.
Okay.
Oh, that's a stop.
Fine.
I think. I don't know. Anyway, that was field hockey. I'm no good at it, but I'll be practicing. I'm working on my game. So thanks to Jill, thanks to Bailey, thanks to Nikki. Check these girls out this season. They're gonna go undefeated after what they did to me probably. So who knows? But no, seriously, it's been another great DSN demo.
That'll for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
Now here's a live look outside into Lewis. We'll have one more check on your forecast after this.
You'll definitely want to have the sweatshirt or heavier jacket out the door tomorrow morning. It'll be dry but chilly with temperatures into the 50s with a northeasterly breeze as well. And tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, temperatures warming into the upper 60s. Some interior areas get hit around 70 degrees with a northeast breeze that will gust 20 to maybe 30 miles per hour at the coast. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. 71 on Friday, a mix of sun and clouds. A chilly start on Saturday around 50. Good looking weekend, 76 on Saturday with lots of sunshine, 78 on Sunday. Mild into early next week, partly cloudy both Monday and Tuesday, 79 Monday, 81 on Tuesday. We finally get that rain chance on Wednesday. Right now, not looking like a lot of rain, 77. Then another cool down after that. Upper 60s Thursday into Friday, then lower 70s heading into next Saturday with lows in the 50s.
All right, thanks Bob for that, and thanks to you for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. You can always find more news and local weather over on our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.